Welcome to the Traditional Way Podcast. I'm your host, Brett Shumway. This podcast is brought to you by the Martial Arts Internet Network, where you can find all things martial arts related on our social media pages and on the main app, available on Apple and Google stores, where you can catch up on all open circuit sport karate news with Inside Scoop, catch a movie review with Fists, Kicks, and Flicks, or find out what's happening in the Jiu-Jitsu and MMA worlds on the Winner's Circle, plus all of our sport karate videos from tournaments. On today's episodes, I'm bringing you the WKF Year in Review. Now look, I already understand that some of you are going to be saying, how are you going to do a year in review when the World Championships and the Youth League still haven't completed? Look, the Worlds are its own entity, and I agree the results from there are going to shake up both the world rankings and change the outcome of the year for almost every division. I do get that. But here's the deal. At the end of the month, the only thing WKF that anyone will be talking about is the World Championships. And there has been a lot of great things that have happened within the WKF this year that will be lost in the wave of headlines coming from Cairo. So I wanted to take the time to acknowledge them before we get swallowed up by the Worlds. There has been movement in the rankings and great performances by athletes all year long that need to be recognized now. So let's take a look at who had the best year in each of the veteran categories. In the minus 50 kilogram division, many may say that two-time grand winner and world number one Modir Jangirbey had the best year once again with her 4 medals this year, including 1 gold. But for me, world number 2 Celia Oiken had the best year in this category, with 2 golds, including her Continental Championship, a feat that Modir did not accomplish this year, and figuring that she climbed the rankings this year up to the number 2 spot from the 9 spot, and Modir only moved from 3 to 1. All in all, the young Algerian had the biggest year in the division this year. The most packed division in women's kumite based on talent is the minus 55 kilogram division. For me, the biggest mover in the rankings this year has been Trinity Allen. She wasn't in the top 10 at the beginning of the year, but she has moved up into the number 5 position prior to Worlds, with her PKF win and 2 bronzes from the Premier League. Now, I am still very upset that she did not do Cairo this year, as she was the best chance for an American to win the Grand Winner status this year. But there's always 2026. However, the best athlete performance this year has to go to Yvette Goranova. Her winning the Grand Winner this year was a shock to a lot of people, and I would say that this has been her most consistent year she has had in her career thus far. With the retirement of the great Anita Saragina last year, the minus 61 kilogram division has been up for grabs this year as to who is going to take over that division. Now, Asel Kanai has taken the top spot and Grand Winner status, but she hasn't won a gold this year, and she is just consistently on the podium, which does show how up for grabs this division truly is if you can take the top spot without a gold. For me, it's the Ukrainian Oleksandra Sholhova that has had the best year and is in position to take the crown that her fellow countrywoman abandoned when she retired. She has 2 golds this year and came out of nowhere in the rankings to move up into that number 3 spot in the division. Now, everyone is going to expect me to say that Elena Quercy had the best year in the minus 68 kilogram division. 4 medals and another grand winner for her to make 3 in a row. But that's what we expect, right? That's just another great year that we are so accustomed to seeing out of Elena. For me, I got to go with the fighter that beat Elena at the EKF Championships this year, Hannah Rydell. Now, Hannah actually has 2 European titles this year, as she won the Veterans and U21 events as the young German looks to make a run in this division and unseat the top 2 that have been at the top of this division for the past 5 years. And I really like her chances in doing that. She ends up in the number 5 spot currently and has 3 golds for 2025. It is easy to say that Maria Garcia is the most consistent athlete within the over 68 kilogram division. She has held the number 1 spot all year and finally got her grand winner this year. Now, she has always performed well in the Premier League, but this was her first year with 2 golds in the league, and she has had some ups and downs this year, but all in all, it's the best year she has had within the WKF thus far. I would say she's earned that top spot in the division. An honorable mention in this division for me is Amelie Hakova. The 18-year-old started out the year in the junior division, where she got 2 golds and ended up in the Series A, where she collected 2 bronze medals. She currently sits 5th and is poised to see what the Premier League has to offer in 2026. The most competitive division in the WKF, the minus 60 kilogram division, was a tough to decide who had the best year, as no one really ran away with this division this year. Hiramu Hashimoto moved into the number 1 spot, but he ended up the year with only 1 gold. Ire Samden had 2 golds to start the year, but didn't secure a single match at the Continental Championships. However, his 2 golds were enough for him to secure the grand winner this year. So for that, I gotta give it to Ire, even though he did not end the year well. We'll see how he does in Cairo next week. Now, the minus 67 kilogram division had the craziest ending to the Premier League standings I've ever seen, with Saeed Obaya winning more golds but losing the grand winner status. That's due to him not winning a single match at the other 2 events for the season. Who won? Yugo Kosaki, with a gold, a silver, and a 5th place finish, edged out Obaya for the grand winner. Additionally, Yugo won his Continental Championships, so I have to give the year to him. Additionally, Obaya's 2024 really was his best year thus far. 2025 was actually a down year in his career. Also, Yugo jumped up 4 places in the rankings, where Saeed stayed in the number 1 spot all year. The minus 75 kilogram division, Abdallah Abdelaziz continues to have the best year once again. Now, this year wasn't as great as last year, but when the only blemish on your year is that you weren't perfect, I mean, this year you were just like you were last year. I mean, what else can you say? He ended up the year with 1 bronze instead of all gold. Still one of the most dominant athletes in the WKF, and I don't see that ending anytime soon. The minus 84 kilogram division comes down to world number 1 Mohammed Al Jafari and world number 2 Yusuf Badawi. At the end of the year, Al Jafari ends up in the number 1 spot, but that only has to do with him winning the Asian Championships and Badawi not attending the African Championships this year, leaving Al Jafari with another 6 multiplier event for points. However, when they matched up this year, Badawi won all 3 matches, giving him 3 golds and the grand winner status this year. 2025 has been Badawi's year thus far. Now, how they do in Cairo next week could change everything about how this division ends up, but for now, it's definitely his. In the last Kumite division, the over 84 kilogram division is interesting. Now, Taha Mahmoud has been on top of this division for a while, being the grand winner 3 out of the last 4 years. However, statistically, 2025 has been his best year, securing 3 golds for the first time in a one-year season. So all in all, he had this. I mean, this has to be the best. He has to be the best in this division. The only thing he's still missing in his career is a world title. In the female kata division, this is a no-brainer. 2025 has been the year of Grace. Grace Lau has been almost perfect this year, with the only blemish on her record was a silver medal at the beginning of the year. She has won every other event and earned her first grand winner status of her career. In her 14th year in the WKF, which has all been within the veterans female kata division, she has finally gotten to the top. I think she stays there until she decides to retire. Male kata is easy. Kakura Nishiyama was perfect this year, no losses. But he did that last year. So can we say this is his best year? That is yet to be seen. He's also searching for the only thing he's missing in his career, a world title. But I can say that Ariel Torres is having his best year in 2025. Now, medal count is the same as 2024, 5 medals. However, this year he has turned those bronzes into silver and moved into the number 2 spot with no one close to catching him or overtaking him in that position. I believe his trajectory this year makes a statement for the future of this division. 2025 had some big moments, but let's take a look at who were some of the biggest upsets this year. I'll start at the Asian Championships, where in the minus 50 kilogram division semifinals, Shamalarani Chandran, who was not ranked in the top 15 at the time, beats Modir Jangirbey by the 8-point spread to advance to the finals. Modir was ranked number 3 prior to that event and was the favorite to win, but Chandran had other plans, which goes down as the biggest upset in that division this year. At the same event, Thailand's Sivakorn Muekthong has the event of his career. Unranked at the time, he goes into the quarterfinals and defeats number 14th ranked Abdallah Hamad, 9-5. Then moves into the semifinals where he beats Abdullah Shaban, ranked number 2 at the time, 2-0, and moves into the final where he faces Hiromu Hashimoto and wins the final by Senshu in a 3-3 tied fight to secure the Asian title. A week later, he goes to the Premier League and fails to win a single match, and we haven't seen him since. But at that event he had in Uzbekistan for the Asian Championships was crazy. Probably the biggest shock this year happened in Cairo. In the semifinals of the minus 75 kilogram division, Abdallah Abdigalwad edges out his countryman Abdelaziz by Senshu to advance to the final. This has been the only loss on Abdelaziz's record in the past 2 years, and the fact that it happened in front of his home crowd at a Premier League event was even more crazy. especially when you consider that it wasn't a top-ranked athlete that did it. Abdegawad is currently ranked number 29th in the world and has only seen 4 quarterfinals in the past 2 years. Was definitely a shock to everyone that follows the WKF. And my last upset of the year happened just last month in Paris, where the 104th ranked Gabrielle Henrique defeated number 21 ranked Chiara Manca in female kata. Manca has had a long career and was ranked in the top 3 for the U21 age category her entire time she was in there. She is one of the people most were watching to make a jump into the veteran age category and make a big splash, when the young Brazilian came out of nowhere to take her spot in Cairo for the World Championships, winning the qualification match by 0.6 points. Now, how she does at the Worlds will be telling, but I still have her as one to watch in 2026. With the 12 multiplier that the Worlds is, she could gain enough points to move her into a top-ranking position. Another one to watch for me in 2026 is Matt Rambeau. With 14 medals, including 10 golds already in his career as a junior and a cadet, Matt's transition points already put him in the number 6 spot in the minus 67 kilogram division. At only 18, we should see him in both the U21 and veteran age categories next year. I expect we will see him continue his strong showing within the WKF. Lastly, Sydney Yvonne is another one to watch next year. Her 14 medals already, including a bronze in the Premier League, she'll be looking to make a statement next year in the minus 61 kilogram division. Having qualified for Worlds this year in front of her home crowd in Paris, the former 2-division athlete looks poised to concentrate only on Kumite moving forward. I expect that we will see a lot of her in both the U21 and veterans divisions. And with that, I want to thank you guys for watching another episode of The Traditional Way. Join me on the next episode where I'll bring you the results from the WKF World Championships. Till then, continue to support the Martial Arts Internet Network by liking and sharing all of our content. And if you haven't already, make sure you download the main app, as we will have a ton of new exclusive content coming at the beginning of the year, and you don't want to miss out on that. Until next time, guys.